Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Syracuse pulls off a solid road win, bounce back after a 3-game skid. They will start ACC play 1-0. Joe Girard bounces back as well with 20 points. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you in fan feedback live on the Spotify Live app and on YouTube. And Syracuse will face off against Oakland this Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We'll let you know what we think about that. First, real quick, Syracuse lands the Pinstripe Bowl, Joe, versus Minnesota. So, as someone who clamored for, I want a bowl game. I want to be bowl eligible. You know, for someone who clamored for that, I'm not going to be too picky. But
no,
I like a different opponent. That's nice. I mean, something, you know what I mean? Something kind of different, a little bit, you know.
I mean, I feel like we've played them. You know, I think we've had a home and away like in the past, you know, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. I know we played them in the Texas Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's who we beat when Terrell Hunt when we went and won the Texas Bowl. But yeah, it looks like the NCAA kind of gave us a go. I was still watching. A lot of people were still guessing that we were going to get the Fenway Bowl, and I thought that it was going to be something that we were going to have to come back and talk about because, you know, obviously they asked to not play in the Fenway Bowl because of finals and stuff like that. So it's finals week and everything like that, and so the Fenway Bowl would have lined up right with finals, and that's why we went to the NCAA and asked not to be in the Fenway Bowl just because of the timing. So yeah, getting the Pinstripe Bowl is probably, you know, next best guess. You know, that's what I guessed last time. That's who I wanted. I just wanted to play in Illinois, but we didn't get them. So we get Minnesota. So, and then NCAA helped us out a little bit because, okay, we play in New York, and all right, you gave the team their wishes so that they could, you know, not worry about finals. But then they gave us the Big Ten team that has the leading Big Ten, the leading Big Ten rusher on their team. So they have a good running back. A 6-year senior quarterback will probably be back from injury. We'll get back. Obviously, we're going to hit a pregame for that at some point. But yeah, they not an easy opponent for sure. Minnesota, they were actually looked at to win. To win that division this year, as far as preseason goes, they were a strong team, and I think some injuries, you know, stopped that. So it's going to be interesting, but this looks like a team that might be able to run the ball against us. So that's definitely going to be something we're going to have to step up and do.
Okay, we'll go over that in about 3 weeks. With that said, I don't think there was. Oh, Josh Huff transferred. I think it was the day after the last show. He'd been battling injury, I think, last year, right? And obviously, I don't even know if he's played a snap, but obviously, he decided to move on to something else. He put up big numbers as a college running back, or excuse me, a high school running back.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, looked promising, but that's why I don't buy a lot of that high school hype, man. You don't know who they're playing, you don't know what they're doing. But we wish them the best nonetheless. So, anyways, that's it for football news. Syracuse ends a win drought and on the road nonetheless. So let's hear what Coach had to say after the game.
We needed Joe to bounce back, and that was the difference in the game. I think he was aggressive. We ran some stuff for him, but he was aggressive and made some plays. And I thought that obviously Jesse is playing at a high level right now. We've got to get better at getting him the ball in some situations, but they're going to double him, and he's got to find the open guys. But I thought Bowl was really good. He made some good plays coming off the bench. We moved Jesse up in our zone a little bit to try to take away the high post, which was fairly effective. But, they're a really good offensive team. They can shoot the ball. And you have to get on them as much as you can from the three. The difference last year, they had the big kid inside who I think he had 20 and 17 here, and they don't have that this year. So we can be a little more effective. But I thought we had opportunities offensively to get to widen the lead, and we had some really good looks, and we just didn't make them. But it was a good play at the end. They went, I'm not coming off Jesse to help, and Judah got to the basket. It was a good play. We were able to use our fouls and make it where they didn't really get much of a shot. So, good win. We just, we got to get better, but it's a good win.
It seemed that early on you guys were attacking the paint a lot. What worked so well inside 3-point?
They didn't double him, and he was getting the ball with space, and they started doubling more. In the second half, it was harder to get him the ball down there.
John, Jim, you touched on John Boyle a little bit, but he made a couple really nice passes in
Yeah.
the game, too.
He made a couple. He's smart. He knows what to do. He just knows now that he won't take that jump shot again. He just got to make plays. He hands off. He gets Joe some shots. He got Joe 2 backdoor layups. Benny can't do that. It's a pretty simple play, but you got him 2 plays, two buckets. That's a big difference. Those 2 buckets were important.
What do you like most about your team's patience? 8 threes in the second half, but 20 shots inside the arc?
Yeah, we have to get it inside. We can't make shots, so that's not patience. It's thinking. We don't always do that. We got a long way to go. This is obviously, you win a game, you're happy, but there's so many things that we have to do better. You can't play 21 minutes and not get a rebound in college basketball. You can't do that. I don't know what to do about it, but we can't rebound like that and win. Notre Dame's not a great rebounding team. We're going to play many teams that are great rebounding teams. And there was a play that Jesse stopped Lazuski from shooting a layup, and Benny was right there, and he never jumped. And he went up and got it and put it in. He never jumped. He never went after the ball. You can't win games with your 3 forwards playing 80 minutes and getting 2 rebounds. That's what they did. 80 minutes. You should never win a game. You shouldn't win this game. There's nothing more I can say about it. If we do that, we're going to lose. It's no secret. Where's Marek Dolezaj when you need him? Guy weighed 170 pounds and we got 12 rebounds tonight. We got guys that weigh 210, 220, and they can't get one. I don't know about that. I give up.
Where's Marek Dolezaj when you need him? He says, I give up. It's a problem. We'll get to that. But off the top, as we do always, starting from the beginning of that bad boy. Finally, Joe got into a rhythm, and he was able to settle in. And despite being 2 for 10, I think, from behind the arc, despite that, he still hit some shots. He hit 7 from 8 from inside. The one thing that he's extremely good at is foul shots, and he's still not getting to the line. And so that's a bit frustrating. I know, what do you want? Do you want him out of control and in making mistakes and trying to create a foul, or would you just rather have him play smart ball and take the shots he knows he can hit and get in a rhythm like that? So it's kind of a catch-22 with that. But with that said, between him and Jesse being totally unstoppable early, he finished the game, Joe, in 40 minutes. This dude finished a game in 40 minutes with 0 fouls. Okay? Yep. And usually with the smaller teams is where we see most of that trouble. And this being a smaller team, they let him play a little bit. And, the officiating was confusing, but I think it was fair. So it was confusing in the fact that I didn't understand some of the no calls mostly, but at the same time, I felt like it was across the board for both teams. And I guess that at the end of the day, that's all I asked for, right? So Joe gets in a rhythm, Joe. That's almost like a rap lyric, right? So Gerard gets in a rhythm, and then you got Jesse, who before they took him long enough to double team this dude. And that's the problem, too, because for opponents, if you've got a double Jesse, that means someone's open, which is what happened at the end with Judah. They didn't come off of Jesse, and he was able to score that. But good bounce back game, ACC win. These games are always extremely close most of the time, between Syracuse and Notre Dame. And a game I felt like, not for anything, a good confidence booster that they need to have, but a lot of things to solve. The puzzle is not solved yet.
No, not at all. And realistically, this team, like we talked about, was a good match. It was a good matchup. They didn't have a lot of big guys.
Right.
They don't score from down low that much. I mean, they shot 60 shots, 33 of them were threes. So that we knew that was going to be the case, and I think that our defense with 7 steals, kind of did their job. Obviously, you want to see some more rebounds. And realistically, too, this game, I mean, again, I was at Great Wolf Lodge all day yesterday. I did my best to not know or find out what anything had happened.
How'd that work?
It worked great until, I sat down and I tried to, start the game. And then, we were going to get food, and then I'll start the game, and then we're going to do this. And so I got done with the game at 11 o'clock at night. By the time it was all said and done, and it's amazing how fast a basketball game can go when you have it taped and you can fast forward through the commercials, and then they only call 15 fouls in the whole game. Notre Dame, we knew that they were a team that didn't foul a lot, and they only fouled us 6 times. They had 6 personal fouls. So, and actually kind of hurt them at the end because, well, I mean, obviously, they didn't hurt them, but us not fouling and the refs calling it consistently kind of, hurt them in the end, because we got to foul them with fouls to give, and kind of took a little bit of time away to be able to,
at the end. Yeah.
Right. So, the rebounding, I'm not going to get to that, but overall,
very good
to come
good
back.
Self-control on that, Joe. Good self-control.
This is the funny thing, right? So when I did the one time that I went on there to look at it, I went and looked at it, went to go start it because I had it taped, and when I went to it, I actually hit the down button. It actually showed the score, but I went up so fast I didn't see which one was which. So I started off game. I started off the game knowing what the final score was,
but not knowing who won.
And not knowing who won.
So you eventually knew, though, with
yes, I did.
13 seconds left.
Well, when Notre Dame got to 61 points and it was 60-61, I was like, well. Oh,
okay.
I mean, they kind of gave it away there for me. So, but yeah, overall, like we said, it was a great win. Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, they just came off their best game. I mean, they just beat Michigan State by 18, and on top of that,
how about Tuesday us talking about, or Wednesday us talking about this game, going, oh, they're going to play Michigan State tonight. Let's, everybody can watch them get their asses handed to them, and I freaking turn on the game and they're mopping the floor with them.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, geez, right? Yeah.
Yep. And then you find out that they got Marcus Hammond, which I completely forgot that he transferred there. We've played him before. He's a fifth-year senior transfer from Niagara. This is his first year back. I mean, he averaged 18 points a game last year for Niagara, and this is his first game, I'm assuming, injury that he's played this year, so it's probably an off-season injury. So that gives him another senior guard, some athleticism, and another guy. So they only went 7 deep. They stayed true to what the stats showed, and they moved it around. But overall, it was just a great matchup for us. Like you said, Jesse, they didn't have anybody for Jesse, and they don't foul.
And also, yeah, they don't. Yeah,
they literally they're like top 5 or something in the country, as far as foul rate and stuff like that. So that does have something to do with only having 4 free throws. They only had 5 free throws. So I mean, there was only 9 free throws in that whole game. So it was crazy. They out rebound us, but we end up getting turnovers. We beat them 10-4. We only had 4 turnovers. So that was really the game. That's what kept us in there. And I mean, to see that they get another guy and they just beat Michigan State by 18, and then you're going to Notre Dame. I wasn't confident at all. And then when I saw the score before the game, I said, well, even if we lost, we played them good, right? But it was a pleasant surprise and a definite needed win, because I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be, 0-1 ACC start and started off 4-5. And we go on this stretch against Oakland, and the chance for Boeheim's job is even louder.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Leshevsky, he didn't score the way that he normally does. That obviously helped a lot. I mean, the defense was pretty decent, especially towards the end of the game. Orange, they came up with a lot of stops, but a ton of missed opportunities on the other end. And rather than have this thing be as close as it was, they could have really put this thing away quite a bit earlier, because it was like, man, I want to say it was about maybe 4 minutes, 3-4 minutes that no one scored anything. And it was quite pathetic. But, I mean, look, you have to look at your team and say, you're getting all these stops. You got to go down and score. Like, you have to go down and score. When you get stops, the highest margin was 5 points for either team in this game. And, when you're playing a team that close, and you get Jesse being double teamed, you still got to find a way. Somehow, some way, you got to find a way to score points. So that was a little frustrating. John Bull, I think if anything's a takeaway, it's John Bull. I liked him in there. He looked good, but a couple of things. This team's not going to be the Buddy Boeheim team that was lighting it up from behind the arc last year or the year before that. They shot 16% from behind the arc yesterday. 3 for 18. Joe with 2 of those. And they're going to have to get the ball inside. And they're going to have to figure it out. If Jesse's going to be the guy that's going to have the target on his back, and he's going to be hard to get the ball to, they're going to have to figure something else out. And I don't know what that looks like right now, but you can't just rely on Jesse being the only guy down there to be able to do it. They're going to have to figure something else out. I just don't see this team getting super hot from behind the arc. We had Justin Taylor had a game. Obviously we know Joe can do it, but until that gets going, man, I don't know what the answer is. You play some of these bigger teams, Joe, getting into ACC play, and that looks like a problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to, like what Joe did, right? It seemed like he was really just settling on the 3-point shots the last couple of games, or deep shots. And, he was a little off. He obviously took some deep twos and stuff like that. But he definitely found a different way to score this game. And it wasn't through free throws, he was getting himself open, but he was doing backdoor cuts and everything like that. And that type of stuff, it helps. It's not just standing around just trying to shoot threes when those guys are pretty much like over defending you out there so that you don't shoot threes. That backdoor cut, you saw he had 2 of them. He had a steal with a layup. So finding different ways to score definitely helps with confidence a lot of times with jump shooters too, because it helps him get that back. Now obviously he took too many threes, but that's what we need to do. Like you said, we're not a 3-point shooting team. This isn't last year, and I think we have some good mid-range guys. It's just finding how to make that happen.
Judah Mintz has an awesome mid-range jump shot.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful. And I mean, he likes to drive, which is something else we need. I mean, he's just got to get in a rhythm of doing that, and a lot of that's just playing together. And it's going to come from passing. And like Coach said in the montage, John Bull's got a high basketball IQ. And he could be utilized in those situations just for assist purposes, man, and being able to get guys their shots. And he did it with Joe a couple times. And he's just, hopefully.
He led the team in assists.
Did he? What do you have?
4.
4. Okay, yep. Yeah.
That's all he had. He didn't have a rebound.
It made a huge difference. He didn't have a rebound. We'll get into that.
Huge. I think he was I saw at least one of the backdoor cuts. Joe Girard had a layup was from John Bull. So I know he was part of that.
True. Yeah. And so anyways, that brings us to the rebounding situation. 20 minutes and 1 rebound for Benny. 60 minutes and 2 rebounds for John Bull, Benny, and Chris Bell together. By the way, Bell with those 2 rebounds. Coach said 90 minutes, something like that, but it wasn't 90 minutes. But look, we were out rebounded 37-30, and we won the game.
Against a small team.
Against a small team, you're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. If they don't get it, you can see the frustration. You can hear the frustration on coach. You can only do so much as far as teaching rebounding. That's an instinctual thing, and you either are good at it or you're not that good at it. But with that said, some of these guys just aren't. It's a little bit of a lack of effort to me. Like, they're not looking for that. Like, they just plan on someone else doing it or what? I don't know. But, you've got, Coach mentioned at the time, Benny didn't even leave his feet on defense to grab a rebound. And, Notre Dame ended up scoring on a missed shot and a putback. And it's like, you just can't do that. The effort's got to be there. You got to be able to grab rebounds. I mean, for those 3 guys and Chris Bell being the only one to grab rebounds in 60 minutes is pathetic. I don't know how it gets fixed. I'm not a coach, but the future doesn't look bright if that doesn't get fixed. And this has been a glaring issue all year for these younger guys. So
yeah. Well, when you look at it too, Chris Bell had 2 points, Benny Williams had 2 points, John Bull had 2 points. Those 3 forwards right there. If at some point the best rebounder is going to be in there, if they don't, because it's not like any of them are really putting up big numbers in any other spots to really, and realistically,
you got to at least do something to make up for it, right? I mean, you have to have an asset if you're going to get minutes. Some part of your game has to have an asset to it, and
yes,
and if it doesn't, and we're sitting here wondering who's going to grab the most rebounds for minutes, I mean, that's a sad situation to be in. And that's why I mentioned John Bull as coach did, because but
there's not even an answer for that, right?
There's not.
Like literally,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, none of them can rebound, so we're going to play John Bull because he plays good defense and he's got good vision, he's got high IQ, and he can make some good passes, and he's not going to take a lot of shots.
Right.
Like that's gonna work for teams that are
it's gonna work for 5 minutes,
not as talented as us, or teams that just is a super good matchup like this one.
Yeah,
that's it. So we have to be able to rebound. So and realistically, this opens up the.
What are the chances that all of a sudden we begin to rebound? That's the problem. That's a problem.
I guess my thing is that this opens up the door for Malik Brown. Malik Brown hasn't been in the rotation for a little while, but he's a bigger body, longer guy, and I think that this opens the door for him. I know he's going to take away obviously offensively, and if he gets more comfortable defensively and closer to John Bull on that end, then I can see him possibly. He's got the doors there for anybody to step up and walk through it and start rebounding and take that spot. But, if you're not going to rebound, you're going to have to do something like Justin Taylor did a couple games ago, or, have a really good game offensively to be able to offset that. But none of these guys have been doing that. So,
yeah, unfortunately. And, who's going to step up and do it? Grabbing rebounds and having that be your thing isn't like the flashiest thing, but it is a difference maker.
It's a needed role.
That's what that's what some of these guys are there for. And I don't know how long coach can sit there and pound away at it, but something's going to have to be done. And you look at the next 4 games, it's got to be done then. So we will see. We will see. We got 4 games to try to figure something out. Box out. Anyway, remember the whole box out thing. Coach said, "Well, we play a zone. We don't box out." Oh, okay. All right. That'll do it for that. A good win. Really, really, another one where you're just like, man, is every game going to be like this? Besides Illinois, where you just get smoked right off the get. But I'll take it. I love the way Syracuse and Notre Dame play. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun rivalry to watch. And to do it on the road nonetheless is definitely pleasing to me. I'm pleased with that. So,
Yep.
was there anything else to cover from that game? I don't think so. Moving on.
Hey, 1-0 in the ACC.
1-0 in the ACC, that's right. So Syracuse will stay home for the next... We're home for 4 games, right? Yeah. We're home for the next 4, but we alternate with Georgetown. That's what I was checking. We must have went to Georgetown last year. So Syracuse is going to stay in the Dome, and Oakland's going to come in Tuesday night at 6. The all-time series between Syracuse and Oakland sits at 4-0 in favor of the Orange. Joe, the two teams first met in 2008. Johnny Flynn with 18 points in that win. Last time out, Syracuse with a 74-62 win. Gerard, Boeheim, Sidibe, Dolezaj, and Hughes. Your starting 5. Hughes with 23 points, Gerard with 20 points, and Sidibe with 13 rebounds. Oakland is sitting 2-8 currently with wins over Defiance, which I didn't even know was a school. No idea. And a 90-90 overtime win over Eastern Michigan. Sophomore forward Trey Townsend leads the Grizzlies with 16 points per game. As a team, they're hitting 44% from the field and 33% from behind the arc, Joe. So Defiance, the win over Defiance, and a win over Eastern Michigan, and then some, I think Bowling Green, I had it up here, like some other, their losses. Bowling Green, Oklahoma State, Long Beach State, San Jose State, Missouri State, Cleveland State, and Purdue Fort Wayne.
Bunch of state schools, huh?
Yeah, jeez. Yeah. So this is one of those previews that is, I don't really know what to say. My expectations aren't to be worried about this game at all. And, I really didn't look too much into the players, but I looked at the record first and I said, oh boy, okay, well, they got work to do. If you think Syracuse has work to do, take a look at Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Right, Joe?
Yeah, they're definitely down again, I guess, this season. There's been seasons in the past where they have
the last time we played them they were decent.
Yeah, and they've been into the they've been in the tournament in recent years. I mean, maybe not last year, but just going through some of these names. I mean, Trey Townsend, Keaton Hervey, Jalen Moore, Blake Lampman, Rocket Watts. I mean, those are the 5 guys that they start, and they average over 25 minutes. They got 4 guys in double figures, but they just look like they make a lot of mistakes. They huck a lot of threes. I don't really know off the top of my head. What do they got? 10 games? They're 2-8.
Yeah, 2-8.
2-8. So 10 games. They've shot 273s. So 27 a game. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be hucking too. So this is just one of those games where we just have to just play smart. They're going to come in. They're going to try to play tough. They play a lot of guards, and even their forwards, their top forwards, Keaton Hervey is 6'4", and Trey Townsend is 6'6". So realistically, when you look at they don't got a lot of height really at all. And I don't really know, if we get out rebounded this game, then there's really going to be a problem. We thought we had a height advantage and we should have got the rebounds against Notre Dame. Well, I mean, the tallest guy, Trey Townsend, he's 6'6", and he's going to be out there trying to guard Jesse. Unless they have another guy on the bench that's got any type of height, they're just going to throw out there. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where this could arguably be the easiest team that we've played since our exhibitions. So hopefully we can come off this win, get some good practice time, and kind of keep it going.
Give some guys some burn. You mentioned Malik Brown. Get Malik Brown in there.
It's a trial game, man.
Yeah, get see what Chris Bell and Benny can do. Give John Bull a little bit more. Samir Torrance, Coach went with what was working, and what was working was great. But Samir, I think, needs a little bit. If you want to use this game as a scrimmage or a practice game, I mean, those are the guys you want to see out there. You know, Justin Taylor. So that's what I expect. That's the only thing, you know, that's kind of the only thing you can take out of some of these games, in my opinion. So just getting some practice and you know, it's nice to be able to do that, especially at this point in the season. And we're looking at, let's see. So Tuesday play Oakland, and then on Saturday we'll play Georgetown. So, and Georgetown is not looking like great, but we've seen what happened the last couple of times. They didn't look great. You know, they beat us. So it's ever frustrating.
Go forever to not win a game afterwards. So
right.
So yeah, I mean, this is the time. This is the last 4 games. I mean, before you go through, obviously Georgetown's going to be tough, but to me, this game, like you get in there, you kind of build off of this. You can use the same game plan, the same type of what you did offensively and defensively against Oakland, because they're basically, you know, same type of team as Notre Dame, but just a shell of them. So we go in, get Jesse the ball early and often. Don't take dumb shots. Try to get people going. But if anybody's not trying, getting rebounds, taking dumb shots, then I think their leashes should be short. Depending on, I mean, there's a few players where, you know, but most of the players' leashes are short. And yeah, I mean, we've looked at it. We know what it is. It's figuring out what the deal is with the forwards. We have Jesse Edwards, and we have Joe, and we have Judah. And I think that, you know, Samir is fine coming off the bench. I think there are some players that had, or some people, fans that had more expectations so far from him. But I mean, Judah's, you got to get him ready for the ACC play. And but these forwards, man, we got to figure it out. And any of those forwards start, you know, doing some things that isn't helping the team,
yank them.
You got to yank them and get the other guys in there, and then hopefully we can get a good big lead, and we can get the Malik Browns of the world and the Copelands and the Hemas in there, and maybe a Peter Carey, and get some guys some chances in the game to earn playing time going against Georgetown on that Saturday, because I'll tell you what, we're going to need to rebound against Georgetown.
Yeah, that too. So, all right, I think that's going to do it for that. It's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what to do at the end of every game. I ask for your thoughts on that game. We come here, we talk about them. And by the way, I will mention this, if you did not know, this segment of the show is on the Spotify Live app, or in the Spotify Live app. Also, it is live on YouTube. Now, there is no interaction on YouTube. I see people leaving messages and stuff. I do not know how to get to those during the show because I don't start the live feed from YouTube. I don't even need YouTube up in the browser to even start it. So, but the place to go is one or the other. But one place is extra, is the green room. And that's a place where, you know, you can get on the show and talk. You can request to speak and get in there with that. And also, there's a little bit of, there was an hour's worth of banter that didn't make it on the show last episode. So sign up, go to your, did you realize that was an hour long?
No, I didn't know it.
Yes, that was an hour long. So go to your iOS, Android, or iOS or Android store and download the app. Now, all you need is your username, email address, and a password to get signed up. Follow us at Cuse Militia there. Sign up for notifications when we go live so you can be in there live. Otherwise, it's just not, it's useless because there's no playback on it, okay? So, let's start this off. Joe, let's start it off here. Let's see what we got. I read a couple of these, but I didn't read them all, and it was mostly right after the game. At Oil Cuse, our buddy Captain Patrick says, wait, are we good again? I'm so confused. It's great knowing how many points and rebounds Jesse can get if he doesn't get into early foul trouble. He ruled down low today. Yeah, so are we good again? Well, I don't know. That question is left to be answered. But they were decent enough yesterday to pull off a win. And it had a lot to do with size. And also, if Joe doesn't get going, I really feel like, if Joe gets going against a Bryant, okay, I think there's a good possibility you pull that game off, the 2 overtime games, which were St. John's and Bryant. And those were part of his no-show games.
No, Bryant wasn't overtime.
Bryant, which were the 2?
Didn't we go Richmond?
Oh,
overtime?
I'm sorry. You're right. It was Richmond and St. John's. So St. John's and Bryant, though, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If Joe gets going in both of those, I feel like we win those games. And, he got going yesterday. It wasn't pretty, 2 for 10 from behind the arc. I think, I have to look at the overall game just to save myself. 5 defensive rebounds is pretty good. So, I don't know if we're good again, because I'm not sure if we were good yet. So, but we definitely can take some positives out of it. It's just Joe's inconsistency that's been the Achilles heel a lot of times. And being that there's nobody on the team, that's a doozy.
Well, that's the scoring problem, right?
Yeah, but that's the putting up the points.
We got other issues that allow the other teams to get just way too many second chance points and way more shots or possessions than we need to let them have. I think that's why we beat Notre Dame. We out-rebounded them, but we only held them to 5 free throws. We didn't foul a lot, and we only have 4 turnovers. If they have 15 free throws and we have 10 turnovers, then we lose by 8.
Yeah, and we don't know, if
probably more.
It could have been. And to pull it off with -7 on the boards is a feat in itself. When in all reality you're looking at the last shot, they're looking at the last shot, and I'm looking at that game going, oh my God, it's gonna come down to this. It's gonna come down to this. Someone hitting something ridiculous for a walk-off win. It really, really ruined my day. Right?
No, I'm honestly, because of the timing and everything that happened to me yesterday, like I said, it was 11. It was 11 o'clock, like I said, when I was done, and the kids are like, they're in bed, they're trying to go to bed, in the other hotel room. And if I wouldn't have known the score and known what was going to happen, then I probably would have went crazy. So, because that's the type of fan I am. At the end of the day, you get down 1 and you have 1 possession.
It's nerve-wracking, bro.
Oh yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Yeah, again, and me knowing the score actually took that all away. So,
yeah.
Like I said, I knew the score. I just didn't know who had what. And then as soon as because then I said, there's no way that Notre Dame is going to get fouled, shoot only 1 free throw. Then we get fouled, then only shoot 1 free throw, and then that's how it ends, right? So I kind of knew that something was going to happen.
Well, when I'm looking at that game, and I'm just watching the defensive stops and going, at some point, Syracuse is just going to pull ahead.
They did.
Because by 5.
Well, yeah, but then
I felt like
it should have been more.
Yes.
It should have been more. It could have been more. They had some good shots that went in and out. I don't know if you want to call Benny taking a deep 3 is a good shot, but
if it hit the rim, I guess it was okay. Maybe not the best choice.
It went in and out.
There was a couple air balls thrown yesterday, so
I know,
it's nice to see it hit the rim.
All I know is that if he wants to keep being able to shoot 3s in a game, he better start rebounding. That's for sure.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah, totally. At Keller 0103, great resume builder. Edwards playing 40 minutes was huge. Forwards have to rebound better. 3-point field goals probably won't cut it in most cases. 0 turnovers for our starting guards. That's key. Yes. There was 4 altogether, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So huge. They played a really clean game. Really comes down to rebounding defense and making open shots. Feed the big man. Yeah, that's the thing. They're going to stop us from feeding, or them from feeding the big man. That's going to be their focus. It's obviously our strong suit on the offensive end. And on the offensive end is the only time they can really do much about it. And that's just going to give someone else an opportunity. Who that is going to be, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But they're going to have to come up with something to.
Yeah. Well, it's just like what I was talking about with football, dude. It's like you have to evolve, right? So that's what I was talking about with football is you have to start with giving it to your best option, right? So that was what Sean Tucker and Schrader running the ball, then Aronde Gatson, pass game opened up, and then you get those three-headed monsters, and you hope that maybe some other people can, that's when you go to the next level. But with basketball, when you're not feeding Jesse and you're just shooting all these jumpers, we're not a three-point shooting team. We got a young team, and he's pretty good around the rim. Granted, there's some strong guys that give him more trouble than Lejewski or whatever his name is, but at the end of the day, you got to start there and then make the other team stop that. And then from there, other people will be open. And that's how that whole offensive thing, they got to learn how to move without the ball, get Jesse the ball, and, make the other team stop them. Because like you said, you double team them, somebody's open. And it's just, we got to move. We got to just keep getting better at playing together. But it's hard when you can't really settle on a rotation because you're still trying to figure out who can rebound and play defense.
Yeah. Nadal, he had to jet from the green room, so he left his fan feedback there, which is fine. Fine with that. He says, I'm convinced Boeheim is a genius. He knew all along we needed Joe Girard to win. Perhaps if Taylor continues to develop, we won't need him anymore. He will need minutes, and based on the past two games with Joe on the bench, he will get them. So, he isn't here. I'm sorry. But, he's back. Yeah, look. Joe's a senior guy on the team. I think it goes without saying that we need him to do something. 9 points in 3 games isn't doing anything. And when he gets in his head about about any scoring opportunities, he just doesn't play anything. It's like he just crumbles. And as a senior guy, you think, and a leader on the team, like, You've got to look past that and do what you can to help. And so that worries me that if Joe's not scoring, that it's going to be no-show Joe. And but to Nadal's point, Justin Taylor, this kid's talented, man. Okay? And it's too early to tell whether he can be consistent or not, but definitely a talented kid and a big kid and a strong kid. So with that said, and he can handle the ball good, too, for size, too, not to mention. So with all that said, man, I think, this puts Joe on the hot seat, nonetheless, as early as it is in the season, to just see how any of that can develop. Nah. You don't think so?
I don't. I mean, I think that Joe would have to just play like he did the other game where he was 20 minutes, took 3 shots, just didn't seem himself, I mean, we've seen games where he's hucked a bunch of shots and he's missed them, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't seen games like we spoke about before with him only getting 20 minutes and only shooting 3 shots. So like I said, I mean, there was people that were sick prior to in a case like that.
That's what we speculated too. But there's no confirmation on any of that.
No, there's definitely not any confirmation on that. I'm just saying that it's all speculation. But I mean, just to say like, all of a sudden this guy sucks and he doesn't need to play anymore. Obviously we've seen inconsistencies from him his whole career. But when someone has a game like he did, the 20 minutes, 3 shots, didn't seem like himself, in that type of situation, I like to give them benefit of the doubt because there's just so many things that can affect these younger adults on the basketball court other than just playing basketball. So he came back in a strong way, found different ways to score, backdoor cuts. It's going to make it easier for him to get his jump shot outside. So it was good to see him back in his usual trying to score ways. So, and without him, we wouldn't have won this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. And that just brings me into this, which is perfect. At No Blanchard 44, he says, it sucks we depend on Girard so much because if he plays like this every game, I think our record is much better. That said, we have some easier games coming up to get this team some more experience before the gauntlet that is the ACC. So, yeah, I mean, I think it goes without saying. And at this point, it's kind of what I've expected Joe to do. And coming into this year, if I had expectations for anybody or anything having to do with basketball, was that Joe was going to just grab this thing by the reins and take over and be a leader.
He still can, right?
He's still there's. It's early in the season. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he can still do it. I just feel like he gets in his own head too much. I mean, it's very hot or cold with him, and it's. I just wish that we have seen times where he has not been good on offense, but he's made up for it. The steals. He had 2 brilliant steals yesterday, and for points, both layups. By the way, can Joe dunk?
I haven't seen him. Don't think so.
I haven't seen him. I don't think so either. But he had two steals. Took it down the court for layups. That's his. I think that's a strong part of his game. You know, besides getting hot from behind the arc, which is what he's known for, but he's known for that in high school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's had some sneaky steals throughout his career, you know, as far as playing at the top of the 2-3 zone. I think the issue with him is that, you know, it's kind of easier for guys to shoot over him in the 2-3 zone because he's not as tall or lengthy. So, you know, you give and take as far as that goes. But, you know, I hope that it can turn around for him. But again, if we can't fix this rebounding issue, and if we can't have guys step up and score consistently, getting 2s, you know, buckets like that to take pressure off Joe, he's going to be out there thinking that he has to carry that load and go, you know, shoot 10 threes like he did against Notre Dame. You know, there wasn't anybody else in double figures other than Jesse Edwards and Joe Girard. So, Joe's the type of guy that, you know, if guys aren't, you know, he feel like he's going to have to step up and do the scoring if guys aren't going to do it for him. And, you know, we got to have guys help. That's all. Other guys need to step up and help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll see a more efficient Joe.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I thought moving him to the 2 was going to be like crucial. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen reaping any benefits from that yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, coming into every game, our opposing coaches, they're going to, as far as game planning and defense, they're looking at Joe Girard as the only guy that's got an outside shot, that's got the perimeter game. And traditionally, other than backdoor cuts and stuff, or stopping and popping at the free throw line, you know, he's not great at driving and finishing around the hoop. So, you know, it's a situation where these teams are trying to stop that. It's like, don't let Joe Girard beat you from the perimeter. So there's that onus on that too. So,
all right, this is our buddy Dom here. He says at Baptized by Fire on 7 on Twitter, says, I love the 2-3 with Mintz, Girard, Taylor, Edwards, and a Jock. I know it may be limited scoring, but it's a very active zone. Well, yes, that's a great defensive 5, but we need points, damn it. And that's not the highest scoring combo I think you can come up with, but it's a good long big defensive 5. So, like I said, go ahead.
I just think that Justin Taylor is probably the best bet. I mean, he's listed as a guard, but he's got 4 rebounds. He had more rebounds than all the other forwards combined. And, you know, he is 6'5", 6'6", and he seems to me like the next logical one or player that might have a chance to come in and hit open threes and maybe, you know, be able to shoot some 2s. You know, I mean, just be a consistent scorer in mid-range, and then when he's got the open shot in the 3, then take it, you know. But, I mean, Chris Bell's had opportunity after opportunity, and he just hasn't taken it. And same with Benny Williams. And
when is that duo going to wake up?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's frustrating because I love Benny. I don't know Chris on the court that well, but you know, we loved Benny last year. We saw the potential in that kid and the humility and the hard work that he was putting in, and it's just
yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen guys, right? I mean, I think the thing that kills this more than anything is, you know, you get expectations based upon, you know, recruiting stars and all this other stuff. You know, we had expectations for Benny, and then, you know, the expectations got set a little bit, you know, this year because Jim Boeheim said that Benny Williams is going to shock the world. So at the end of the day, if he's not ready, he's not ready. I mean, these guys got talent. You can see the talent, but we need people that are ready. We need people that are willing to step up and play their roles and do the dirty work that they need to do to help this team. So maybe it's not this year, maybe it's next year. We've seen guys that have taken a long time to develop, the Sutherlands, stuff like that. And if this isn't their year, then this isn't their year. But it's just, this is the time to figure it out. It's just non-conference has changed since, the traditional ways of the scheduling and everything. I just don't remember non-conference being like this with so many games. And I guess the ACC Big Ten Challenge, when we moved to the ACC, I feel like there's like quadruple, if not 10 times more holiday tournaments than there are or were way back in the day. And we're playing ACC games in the middle of the non-conference schedule.
They've toyed with that for the past few years. We started the season with a game against UVA a few years back. Remember that? That sucked. So yeah, I don't mind. I kind of like the early ACC game, but to your point though, yeah, I don't. I just think that the non-conference has gotten quite a bit more challenging.
Yeah,
used to just be all cupcakes.
Not really cupcakes, but games that you could like play everybody to try to figure out the rotation, give everybody a chance, and then still win by double digits.
Still some pretty like lackluster competition though. Maybe not cupcakes, but still games when you look at the slate, you're like, okay,
Right, but usually it was like 13 of them, maybe a onesie twosie of a tough game, just to see where you are, measuring stick in the middle of non-conference or something. But now you have all these games that you have to. We've played. It's
11 non-conference games, I think. We
played an important. Albeit we beat Notre Dame, but that's. A conference game is important, and to play them in the middle of the non-conference where you're still trying to figure stuff out, sometimes doesn't always help everybody. And I didn't think it was gonna until we actually played the game. It just ended up being a good matchup. But I never remember playing all these games, unless we were in a tournament or something like that. So. We got these 4 next games to figure out the roles and rotations, and if these guys aren't the guys, then we need to move forward with guys that are just willing to do what they need to do. And if that's John Bull, he's going to go out there and he's going to play his heart out, play good D. Like I said, had the most assists on the team. So I'll take that with little to no rebounding than some of these crap shots and some of this effort that I've seen from the other guys.
Yeah, the effort's just not – I'm just not seeing it. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to be harsh, but
I used to say effort's free, man.
Yeah. At Cuse Waterboy, Edwards Cuse Waterboy is suspended from going live in the green room. I'm just playing. But you know what? What happened real quick? I might as well just tell this story like super fast. So the antics in the green room that did make it to YouTube live last episode. They did get everything throttled pretty well on YouTube, which is fine. I couldn't care less, honestly. It's just for fun. But yeah, I got a warning for community standards from that episode. So, and you think about this though, honestly. I'm totally off subject here, but think about this honestly. Like, you can look up comedians on YouTube, and they're just as foul and vulgar as Tony. Are they getting warning notices from YouTube on the community standards? I doubt it. What the hell? So, anyways, it's a little story.
No, they don't have to worry about them. They're famous.
By the way, it no longer exists. It's an MP3 format on my computer, but that is it. So I was like, if it's getting throttled, I'm pulling it because it's not even worth being up there. So anyways, I have it. And maybe someday y'all will hear it. By the way, this is our 400th episode, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 6 years. Yeah, 400 episodes. Can you believe that? That's wild.
I can, but I can't all at the same time.
I know, it's wild to me. Anyway, I digress. Edwards is a beast, and credit Gerard to play much better when the entire city wants to hang him on a cross outside the fake Christmas tree in Clinton Square. This is a massive W on the road in the ACC. Yeah, I saw a couple of, not a couple, but a few, rather, remarks from people talking about, if you're going to trash Joe Girard when he's having a bad game, at least give him credit when he's having a good game. I mean, it's true. It's like that's the least you could do. It's the least you could do. You know, no one's perfect. Joe has struggled. You're either all about Joe or not to some extent in the Cuse universe. And, you know, I'm a guy who I want everybody on the team to freaking ball out. So that's all I want to see. I just want to see people play and ball out. So, anyways, let's.
No, you're right, man. You are right though, because honestly, like you can't. And that's what trolls are, right?
Yeah, in the age of social media, it just is. You know, first of all, it's not going to end. It's always going to be a thing. I think it's disparaging. I think some of the things that are said are just ridiculous, and I understand being frustrated, but you know, to go on Twitter and just straight trash someone, I don't know, man. It's your team. You want to trash someone, trash Notre Dame.
That's my thing. And I just hate when, when they're bad, the negativity comes out. When they're good, it's freaking crickets and there's no appreciation or no, just
put it this way.
Acknowledging the fact that, something good happened.
I have a close friend of mine who's a Syracuse fan, and he can't stand Jim Boeheim. So he when they lose, he loves it because it justifies his anger towards coach. And when they win, it's an excuse. Oh, well, you know what? It's like, dude, you're a fan. You're letting the fact that you want coach to retire cloud your judgment with whether or not you want to win or lose a game. It's so odd to me that you would be like that. So it's just
that thought process is just
that thought process is just unnatural. I feel like don't you want your team to win? Like you could still want coach to retire and be happy that they won and not look like a sad sack. Like what the frick? Let's head over to Facebook real quick and wrap this thing up. All right. Top fan. John. Yes, John. Nice win. Simple basketball. High, low, and motion offense. Keep it up. There we go. See, by the way, I think I've said this before too, that out of both social media platforms that we use, generally speaking, Facebook is less negative than Twitter. I can't stand either one of them. I can't stand Facebook more than Twitter, actually. Twitter's just a cesspool, but Facebook I can't stand as a platform. But usually it's a little better here. So we'll see. Jesse, he has something short and sweet. So let's go over that real quick. He says, and then we'll do Alex. They're right there. Right side by side. Oh, top fan, Jesse. Pardon me, Jesse. Missed the game because, this is why I was short, because of work. But I did hit on my $20 bet. Thanks for the scouting report on the Irish. Wow, hey, there you go. What do you think about that? Because we did pick a win. By the way, I had 62-60, or excuse me, I had 66-64. I mean, not bad.
It's pretty good.
Not bad. Yes, so Jesse hits 20. That's great. You should put another 20 down on Syracuse versus Oakland.
Whoa. We don't know what that spread is.
Okay. True.
We were an underdog in the other one.
Top fan Alex. Great win. We will be able to be in every game if Edwards and Girard can lead. Adversity is the key word for this team, and can we handle it moving forward? Go Cuse. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna slightly disagree. I think you can get Jesse Edwards and Girard leading, and you can win that way. You can win a lot of games that way. But if you don't get Bell and Williams on the boards, it's gonna
or anybody else.
Well, I mean, you got to get those two. You really do. I mean, you want to talk John Bull? Really? That would help.
If he gets me 10 rebounds.
I mean, if he gets 10 rebounds and keeps doing what he's doing, that's it. I mean, he's going to be starting, and that's going to be, everybody else is going to be playing catch up.
I don't care who starts.
I don't give a crap either. I want someone rebounding. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. It's going to become a problem sooner than later. And we don't know.
Georgetown.
Right. So sooner.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. And that's how they did it before. Not a very talented team, but they killed us.
Yep.
Let's see. Top fan. Look at all these top fans coming in here. Michael. Great way to start ACC play on the road with a potential quad 1 win. Now, that's true. We won't know for a while where this lands, but if Notre Dame can play the way they played against Michigan State, by God, by the way, we played them again in the Dome. So, don't count your chickens for your eggs hatch, but we get to play Notre Dame again. And we'll see where they're at then.
Quad 3 loss.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just joking.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it'll be at least a quad 2. Same with the Cornell loss. It's a quad 2 loss, I think.
Colgate.
Colgate. We haven't played Cornell yet. All right. Let's see. Brian. It truly was critical to any chances. Long way to go, but fantastic. Jesse, obviously, and Joe Girard, and the second half defense held them to 3 points instead of 8 that they had in the first half. I don't know if I should proofread any more of these or what, but I just read that word for word. So let's just go to Gary. Top fan. Huh?
I was going to say that's fine. I understood the end with defense and how they hit 8 first half threes and they only hit 3 in the second.
Right. Okay.
I got that part.
Okay. All right. I was a little confused. Okay, Gary, top fan on Facebook. This is not a good Notre Dame team. They're a lot like Cuse. Deficient in many areas. They had less size than Colgate in Northeastern, who we played. So, look, they're a talented team, though. That's the thing. The size is what killed them because Leshevsky wasn't hitting. And normally he hits. And if he hits and he gets going, then that's a problem. And it's always the guys that are doing these things from behind the arc and just, like Bryant. Illinois, that's a given, right? So that's always where we struggle because Syracuse gets behind because of the 3-ball, then what's that leave them to do? Chucking up threes. And then you just get more behind. And then it's hit the panic button. And then it's hit the panic button. And then, they tried to press and, it works for a minute. But after that, they're getting beat. And so if you can...
we came back on Bryant. But, it was Bryant,
we did.
Right, I worry about coming back on other teams and stuff like that and getting, down. Like I said, you got to start with Jesse first. Jesse, Judah. And if he's open, you want to run some sets for him too, but it can't be this hero ball stuff, man.
Yes, Anthony, road wins, they're quadded differently. Huge. So a home, for instance, a quad 1 home win is a 1 through 30. A neutral is 1 through 50 and away is 1 through 75.
Yeah. So as long as Notre Dame stops, is like in the top, once 75 in the net ranking, then it'll be a quad 1 win.
Right. Well, you just got to keep up with the net rankings, and if Notre Dame ends up in the top 75, that's a quad 1 win. So, we always, once it gets going, getting into after the next 4 games, we'll start looking at net rankings and start keeping track of all that stuff. So anyway, all right. I think that's going to do it, Joe. That's going to do it. And per the new schedule so far, we'll be back here on Wednesday. Wednesday. Yes, they play Tuesday night. We'll be back Wednesday to tell you about Oakland and then look ahead to Georgetown. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.